past week on July 13th around 7 p.m., a massive power outage took out the electricity in the west side of Manhattan, and it affected some 73,000 plus customers. Now, when I think of a power outage, I think of an inconvenience, right? No lights, no fan, no AC, oh my gosh, no Wi-Fi. How do we survive? The reality is, for people in Manhattan, a power outage was something much more dangerous. It meant that people were getting stuck in elevators. People were getting stuck in subway lines. It meant that traffic lights were out, and so fender benders were happening, and people were stuck in traffic for hours. This thing that illuminates our day, when you take it away, turns out it can have some very dangerous and sinister side effects. So it makes it somewhat hard, when you think about that, to sympathize with, of all people, theater goers. People who are standing in line waiting for hours to go see one of their favorite Broadway shows, like Hamilton or Phantom of the Opera or Wicked, but there was no lights, there was no electricity, there was no show. Now, I'm going to admit that if I was one of those theater goers, despite some of the other dangers going on in the city, I would have been annoyed that I had shelled out hundreds of dollars to go see a Broadway show, and there would be no Broadway show. But over the rumble and frustration of the crowd, there came this small little noise that began to grow block by block. You see, the performers that would not be going on stage came out into the audience, into the crowds, on the streets, and they began performing numbers from the show. You know, I've seen a lot of shows, and to be honest with you, I can get a little pretentious when it comes to shows. If it doesn't have the lights and the glam and the big number spectacles that I've come to expect from shows, then I can get bored with it pretty easily. And that's, like I said, pretentious. First world problems, right? But what if we were to take away the lights and the big sound effects and all the glimmer of a show? Would we still come to enjoy that show? Would we still be engaged with the story of that show? Let's translate this example into our life. What if we were to take away the high-polished facade that we often put up for other people, and where you were just ourselves? When we do that, you take away the lights and the glimmer of the day, all of a sudden your imperfections become much more noticeable and much more easy to spot. But at the same time, you can be much more real, much more vulnerable, much more open with people than you ever had before. Let's translate this example into our daily life. If we were to take away the high-polished facade that we often put up in front of people to impress them, would we still approach our work and our day with enthusiasm and joy? You take away that high-polished veneer that we'd like to put up in front of people that tries to impress them, and suddenly our imperfections and weaknesses become much more noticeable, much more easy to spot. But even if they were, would you still approach work with joy, with excitement, with enthusiasm? Would you still approach other people with a happy attitude for the day? Okay, now what if we were being served this way? Say we went to a restaurant and the waiter came by, and instead of trying to impress us with having memorized the perfect order script or trying to get everything perfect for our experience there, what if the waiter just tried to be an honest, good friend? Someone who related to us on a human level, person to person. Maybe the steak that we ordered comes out medium instead of medium well. But even if it did, would we be able to recognize the love that went into the order every step of the process? The people of New York had a chance to take away the glimmer and the lights of the Broadway spectacle for just a few moments and experience shows in the raw form and still be entertained. But what if we were to take that example and translate that into our life? And instead of waiting for the lights in our life to go off, the veneer and the high polish to come crashing down accidentally or unintentionally, what if we took it down ourselves on purpose, willing to admit that we're not perfect, we have flaws, but we still approached work and other people with joy and purpose and love? We realize that we might have something that we can bring to people that day that makes their life, their day, their experience a little bit better, a little bit easier. The performers on Broadway were able to do just that. And when they did, instead of having to muscle through a tough evening, they ended up creating memories for some people that would last a lifetime. So tackle today without facade, and perhaps you'll find that the ordinary moments of your day turn into extraordinary, unforgettable moments that last a lifetime. If this video was encouraging or motivating to you today, please make sure you hit like on it and leave a comment below. Also, if this channel is something that brightens your day, or you just want to fill your feed with positive, encouraging messages that turns the chaos of our life into something good, well, then make sure you hit subscribe and turn on your notifications so that you don't miss anything coming out on the Brilliantly Inspired channel each week. We'll see you next time.